FDOT's construction plan for replacing a decades-old seawall in St. Augustine was announced just recently. Troy, how important is a seawall in the community?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what they're doing because it sounds like they're doing the seawall, but they're bringing the walk down.
Oh, whoa. Why would we go down, right?
Okay, well, because there's some dangerous situations there. I've never seen a child fall off the edge, but I have seen a dog fall off the edge at the seawall there. The seawall's there, and then it's just got the chain, and it definitely doesn't meet safety requirements of today.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to be 42 inches of a barrier where a kid can't get through.
Right.
So it doesn't meet those criteria, so they have to fix that. But what I'm understanding is the seawall is going to stay close to the same height, and then there'll be a walkway alongside of that,
like a lip or something.
Yeah,
okay.
It's interesting. So I mean, I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out.
I see what you're saying here. It says the proposed plan includes installing steel sheet pipes and removing the existing sloped pavement near the Bridge of Lions.
Yeah.
Following this, the area between the current seawall and these pipes will be filled in, leveling out the sidewalk. Interesting.
Yeah.
Importantly, this work will be conducted in 150-foot sections north of the Bridge of Lions. The majority of the construction will take place on the water side, allowing uninterrupted access for people to enjoy the waterfront walkways. Interesting.
Yeah. So and that's the other thing. I wasn't sure how they were going to do it without close. They said they weren't closing that walkway.
Right. Yeah. So the next phase involves constructing a 3.5-foot pedestrian barrier. Okay, so there's your barrier.
Yeah.
To enhance safety. So I guess the 3.5 foot is like a mandated. Is that a regulation? You think?
Yeah, it's 42 inches is the safety. Like if you see handrails on a balcony, they're usually 42 inches. So or like even like handrails going up a stairway or something like that. Like the older ones, like you're in an old house when you really have to bend down to grab the handrail.
Yeah.
You have to bend down probably anyway.
Always. Oh my God,
but like when I have to bend down to grab the handrail, I know it's like an older house and it doesn't meet the new criteria.
Yeah.
So I was interested to see how they were doing that. And
do you think with you going out and about, do you hear people talking about this? Are people supporting this mission?
You know what? This one's not as much buzz as what the bridge is on King Street. The bridge on King Street, people are really shook up about, and of course the roundabout people are shook up about.
Right.
So,
will this slow down any of those plans? Do you think?
Oh no, this one was scheduled well ahead of the roundabout, and and it doesn't affect the other one. So, the roundabout will come after this, but like I said, I'll be curious to see how much disruption this has. It sounds like they're going to do most of the work from a barge. So it shouldn't really affect traffic patterns.
Interesting. Wow.
So, except right around the base of the bridge, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and I was wondering how they were going to do it. Like doing it in 150-foot sections, still pretty ambitious.
But it's important to have a seawall wide to protect from like erosion and obviously pedestrians. We were talking about
a lot of people don't realize where the seawall is now was before about where the middle of Avenida Menendez is. So where the median was. So there's an additional like 40 or 50 feet that was added when this seawall was put in. Because it didn't used to be 4 lanes right there. They claimed more of the bayfront, so that's reclaimed water. The water line used to be about where the median is.
Yeah, I heard that's where they found that ship on right.
Well,
that
was that was on the other side of the Bridge Alliance.
That makes sense. Where the water line is.
It was in one of the basins that used to exist. They used to have basins that were shaped like a little square that protected them, so you could bring the boats in, and then you were kind of protected away from the wind and everything else. Like they were little tiny marinas, I guess is the best way to do it. But they looked like little squares. And it was in one of those basins that had gotten filled in is where they found that boat. So
are you essentially saying that the water honestly wants to like push past the seawall and to get back to where it was?
Well, nature finds a way. I mean, we learned that from Jurassic Park.
Yes, sir.
But that's the reason they're having so much trouble with like Lake Sanchez. That water came all the way past where the Lightner was at one point. So we kind of reclaimed that space also. Well, Henry Flagler did. Reclaimed that space. So, I mean, you're always going to fight against some of those things. Another prime example about it is when we cut in the inlet between, the inlet we know right now. That was cut in the late 30s, early 40s. They were expecting, the original inlet was around Anastasia State Park, came along Salt Run past the lighthouse. That's the reason the lighthouse is where it is. It's nowhere near the inlet now.
Right.
All right, but the lighthouse was there before the new inlet was built. Well, they thought that Salt Run Inlet would stay open and you'd have two different inlets. Nature's like, no, you only deserve one. We're closing in this other one, and that's how we have today's inlet.
Really?
It was cut in, like I said, in the 30s and early 40s.
Wow. So do you think that we're paying for those past mistakes, or do you think it's just the way it is?
Like I said, nature's going to fight you whichever way you want to do it. So it's always going to win.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, nature will take us all over.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And our small punishment is traffic, of course.
Yeah.
Which will definitely be directly affected by some point.
Yeah.